Heuristics is the name of a web interface which tries to create a new superstition and convince people to believe in it. But what is a superstition? Merriam-Webster defines it as a belief or practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, or a false conception of causation. I'm going to talk about a few existing superstitions and then analyze why they might work. Biorhythms is an example of an extremely successful superstition. Some airlines today still ask their pilots to keep track of them. One reason biorhythms is so successful is because they are always accompanied by multi-line plots and lots of numbers and probabilities in an attempt to appear scientifically sound as well as to confuse the reader. Traditional Chinese calendars give daily precautions. For example, you should not wash your hair on New Year's Day, or you should not make your bed, else you might have bad luck. Any given day may have up to 8 recommendations. So why do so many people believe these? The outcome, bad luck, is very vague and can be easily reinforced. If some misfortune happens to you, you might look back on the calendar and realize you performed one of the forbidden tasks, giving strong reinforcement to the superstition. Western horoscopes make vague daily predictions. For example, things are starting to get really confusing today, but you can handle the added stress. See if you can get your workmates or family members to help you get a read on what's really going on. Now, all this superstition is saying is you might experience some stress today. You should ask someone to help you. Any stressful event can be easily massaged to fit into these statements and thus reinforce the apparent predictive power of horoscopes. So how can we use this knowledge to create an effective superstition? First, we start with a vaguely defined negative outcome, fatigue. Do you feel more or less fatigued right now than you did yesterday? How about the same day last week? It is not easy to define and varies from person to person, yet it is something most people care about. No one wants to feel fatigued, so it is reasonable that people will take steps to avoid it. Next, we choose to include many causes, 8 in total, some within user control, such as the color of their clothes and amount of caffeine consumed, and some out of the user's control, like the weather. Finally, Heuristics claims to create a complicated statistical model to predict what types of clothing and weather patterns will decrease your levels of fatigue. You'll notice that all the successful superstitions we analyzed earlier changed from day to day. We believe that this daily interaction makes a superstition stronger in 2 ways. It is more difficult to prove wrong because there is no easy to remember rule or pattern, and daily interaction means people will become more committed to the superstition. So in light of this, we broke heuristics down into 2 phases. The first is a data input phase, where users log in daily to pass along information for heuristics to analyze. The second is a feedback phase, where users can read the suggestions for the day. These are randomly generated and are different for every day of the week. Now let's watch Charlie's reactions to various predictions by the Heuristics website. Let's see how accurate this heuristic stuff really is. It says I should have worn a blue shirt, but I wore red today. Wait a minute, I did feel tired right after I had lunch. Maybe there is something to this heuristic stuff. The next day, Charlie forgets to check the website in the morning and wears blue instead of the recommended orange. Since he didn't feel tired all day though, he forgets all about heuristics, subtly reinforcing it although it was wrong. On the 3rd day, Charlie has an important soccer match and wants to make sure he isn't tired. He decides he'd better check heuristics, just to be safe. Oh, the website says I should wear purple. I don't want to feel tired during the match. I better wear this purple shirt. And that's how heuristics works. Thanks for listening.